Today's video is going to be entirely selfish, and it's me talking about my top 5 cars that I'm currently looking for, and maybe one of you guys can help me find them. My number 5 pick of cars that I'm looking to get is a 2003 or 2004 black Mercury Marauder. I know I'm pretty easy to please, you guys. I bought actually an '04 brand new back in '04 from the factory and drove the crap out of that car and loved it. And this was back before I understood kind of what fast sedans look like. But for me, it was a badass car, and I'm looking for one right now. I ended up giving that one to my brother after I put a boatload of miles on it, and I was kind of saving it before I had a space like this, and it was just collecting dust, and it wasn't being taken care of. So he now drives it, and I love that car to this day, and I'm happy that he gets to enjoy it. But that's my number 5 pick, a '03, '04 black Mercury Marauder. My number 4 pick, and this one probably ties with number 3, but my number 4 pick is a early 90s, late 80s Bimini blue, or the equivalent, like this blue over here, which I know is different, notchback Mustang manual. Again, easy to please. I know they're kind of hot right now, but I'm looking for one. I always liked the car. They always looked mean to me. And it was one of those cars, too. I actually had a white 91 GT back in 91. Um, and I was always perplexed as a 17-year-old as how the notchbacks were faster, not calculating the whole weight differential. Not that the GT was a slouch back in the day, it wasn't, but still, I was always kind of irked. So now I'm looking for that notchback to add to the garage here. My number 3 pick is a car I fell in love with back when it came out, and I've had variants of it, but I've never had this exact car, and that is a 2000 to '03 Le Mans Blue E39 M5. I went to the auto show, and I've got a picture of that Le Mans Blue car at the auto show here in Detroit back in '02 or something like that. And it just looks awesome. It looks awesome to this day. I actually ended up getting an E60, which was a dumb move because I probably could have bought the E39 with less miles and cheaper back when I bought the E60. But I had an '06 E60 M5. Loved that car. Took great care of that car. Sold it to a buddy of mine at work who still drives to this day. I wouldn't mind having one of those, but it's not on my top 5. The E39 though is just a stout car, and think about it too. Like back in 2000 when those came out, V8 natural, almost 400 horsepower. Like for that car at that time was an absolute monster, and I didn't know it at the time. In 2000, but I caught on there in the early 2000s, like just how much of a monster that thing was. But it also had a monster price tag to go along with it, like high, essentially 100 grand. If you optioned it well, for all intents and purposes, back in 2000. So again, that's my number 3 though, a Le Mans Blue E39 M5. My number 2 car, and this is going to shock some folks, but there's some sentimental reasons here, but I also think it's a badass car. Is a early 90s, late 80s, but early 90s are better. Lincoln Mark 7 LSC Special Edition. They just look mean. They had the 5.0 motor in them, so they were like a Mustang motored, a Fox body-esque car, but 2-door on the Thunderbird platform. Nice interior, nice exterior. Like the seats were unreal in those things. Look it up. In terms of what the seats look like on the early 90s special editions. What I want, though, is a black on black. So black exterior, black interior. There was a 5.0 turbo LSC special edition, black on black, blah, 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 on line early last year, early 2020, that I missed. I literally missed it by days, and I'm so pissed at myself because that would have been even more badass. It was like 600 wheel horsepower. But I will take a bone stock one if I find one. So if any of you guys know of a black on black, 90 something Mark 7 LSC special edition, please let me know. I'm looking for one, and I have been for a while now. But that's my number 2. Again, I'm pretty easy to please here. These aren't like crazy, Paganis and whatnot. They're pretty pedestrian, but they're awesome cars. At least to me, they are. That's my number 2, though. My number 1 car currently that I'm looking for is a 2013 Night Race Blue ZR1. I've got currently every other blue ZR1 that exists which I'll get to in a second. The Night Race Blue is one I'm absolutely looking for right now, and it's my number one, pick on my hot list. They only made 50 and change of those cars, and only in 2013. They're around, and so they're not, some crazy unicorn. But they're a really cool looking blue on a ZR1, and every blue ZR1 looks cool to me. And I've got, 3 different shades right now of the ZR1 blues. Um, Anyway, nothing special about it beyond the color, but a 2013 Night Race Blue ZR1, that's my number one pick. In the spirit of adding on a car here that is unattainable, I thought I would put a number 0 car um, for my top pick. I'm a programmer, so that's an inside joke. The number 0 car for me is, and they only made one, and it was only in '09, and it was auctioned off for $1 million. But that they made one single Le Mans Blue Metallic ZR1, C6 ZR1, and it was auctioned off, and it went for $1 million back in, it was '09 or 2010, unreal. But it was, a one of one. I think it was the first car made, but I'm sure I'm wrong there. So it's one of those things where they only made one. That's a fact, and it's only that color, which is neat. So to round out and have all the blues in the ZR1 family, that would be my number, my number 0 pick. But that one I'm sure is unattainable, and I've never seen it for sale, nor do I think it will ever be for sale. But if it ever is, by all means, poke me and let me know, because I will look at it. Let's put it that way. Anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. Check out the ddxauto Instagram, and by all means, like, subscribe, and so on. I really appreciate the comments. I like interacting with you folks. If you want to stick your top 5, I'd love to see them. And I love it even more if they're not the crazy, unattainable, Pagani, Mercedes, hundreds of $1,000 cars. If there's something that's just unique to you, that makes it even better. Like the black LSC. The reason it's sentimental is because my dad introduced me to them. We had one when it was like mid to late '80s when they first came out, and then had one or two. And it was actually the first car I ever wrecked, like complete wrecked. And it happened. I learned about a valuable lesson that day. I was turning left, and I was behind somebody else turning left, and me, the 16-year-old idiot driver in a Mark 7, just followed the guy in front of me turning left, and got absolutely smashed head on by a guy rightly coming through the green light. So I was the idiot, but it was a valuable lesson I learned that day. 2 lessons, in fact. The first lesson was, obviously, look for who's coming on a left turn. The second one was, do not blabber out that you were 100% at fault to the cop on the scene. Let him figure it out. And if you get, if you get off clean, then no harm, no foul. I was the honest 16-year-old speaking my confessions to the cop on the scene, which was both naive and, I guess honorable at the time. Anyways, that's my top 6 cars I'm looking for. Thanks for watching.